Design Indaba.
When I started at Google 12 years ago, actually, it was probably the most insecure I've ever been in my whole life. Here's one of the most successful, important companies in the world with products that touch millions, billions of people's lives, with the smartest people on the planet, some of the smartest people on the planet that work there. And this is no exaggeration. I did my orientation with Vint Cerf, the co-inventor of the internet. And here I am, a graphic designer with an art degree. I can kern type. And even more scary, everything that I built my career on, design, brand building, storytelling, the company had never needed to succeed. But I was compelled by this notion that if how we live is being shaped by technology and companies like Google, I think it's important that people from the humanities are there to help shape the future of humanity. So here I am. And as Andy Burnt, my boss and partner in crime, said, when a spaceship lands in your backyard, you pretty much have to get in. There was no job description. No one knew what to expect of us. They definitely had no expectations of us. But we tried to answer the question, okay, what could a band of misfits, people from the arts, what could we do to help that perhaps the inventor of the internet can't even help with? One of the first things we thought of was like, hey, let's remind people what it is they love about Google. Even though we all use it, we kind of take it for granted. It's like the air we breathe. And there's actually a lot of things that the engineers spend a lot of time innovating every year. And these features show up, but no one would know about it. Like when you type in your flight number, it automatically tell you what gate it's at, whether it's delayed and all that stuff. So we decided to make a little film to show off all the things that it could do. People like this video. Actually, Larry and Sergey, the founders of Google, said, hey, you know what, you should try to, they liked our work. They said, hey, maybe you should try to put some of your creativity into our products. So when Larry became CEO about 10 years ago, he called us and said, hey, can you guys take a look at redesigning all of Google? And we're like, we're not really product designers and or UX experts. And he said, oh, don't worry about it. Just do it, because I can't talk to any group within Google because design was decentralized into all the different product groups. So I need someone that's agnostic that can look through it all. So we said, okay, and a little bit of career advice, you don't say no to the CEO. And he also said, can you come back in 2 weeks? So what do? We sort of printed out on big piece of paper the current 10 pages of the most trafficked websites of Google. And we stood back and looked at it, and we then just put up different versions of 10 other pages. It was nothing more complicated than that. And And he looked at it, and he was like, wow, this is pretty cool. Let's do it. And within months, all of Google was redesigned. And it was the beginning of the modernization, simplification, and beautification of Google, which actually one of the favorite things that the press wrote was that in addition to Google's famous "Don't be evil" mantra, they've now added "Don't be ugly." Technology by itself is nothing until it actually touches someone's life in a way that's useful and helpful. No one cares about a Chrome browser, but they might care what a Chrome browser might help people do. So I was really inspired by this story of an engineer at Google who, when his daughter was born, he created a Gmail account and started writing emails to her, and expecting that when she's 16, he would give her that email account and she would be able to read everything that he had written. And as a father of two, well, who I'd say perfect daughters, because they might see this video later, perfect daughters, I was really inspired by that story, so we told that story.
Are you ready for your big party today? Huh?
Last year was the 50th anniversary of the moon landing, and we wanted to think of cool ways to celebrate it. You've probably all heard of Neil Armstrong, who landed on the moon. You might have heard of Buzz Aldrin, but you probably have never heard of Margaret Hamilton. So Margaret Hamilton was a software engineer that wrote the code and led the team that wrote the code that actually landed man on the moon. She's a complete badass. This is actually the real code that you can download from GitHub now to see how they did it. And we thought she deserved a tribute that's equivalent to the size of her impact on that momentous event. And so we thought of creating the world's largest portrait, the largest portrait ever made on Earth, with a little help of the moon. last year was a big year, was also the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall riots. It's a protest that started at a Stonewall Inn, a gay bar in the West Village in New York, that sparked the whole LGBTQ movement to fight for its rights globally. It was also the birth of the Pride Parade. And in 2016, President Obama, I miss him. President Obama designated Christopher Park, a little triangle in front of that inn, as a national park and monument to the plight of the LGBT community. And so, because it was steps away from our Google New York office, the LGBTQ community asked us if we could help with the preservation of the history and to create a monument. And this is what we did.
50 years ago, in a tiny bar called the Stonewall Inn, LGBTQ people fought back against years of oppression. Today, this history lives on around the world. It lives in moments big
This is who I am.
and small, in voices old and new.
I'm a queer person. I am so powerful.
The story of America is a story of progress. Sometimes we can mark that progress in special places. One of these special places is the Stonewall Inn.
The first national monument dedicated to the story of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community and their fight for equal rights.
New York City's LGBT Community Center, with support from the National Park Service and Google, is working to preserve this story and bring it to as many people as possible, taking the idea of a national monument and bringing it to life. By digitizing archival materials from the early years of the movement, by capturing the voices at the front of the fight,
It felt like you were free. You didn't have to hide anymore.
by finding voices we've yet to hear and bringing them all together in a living monument.
We're gonna stand up and take our own rights into our own hands.
Stonewall made us a people. We all knew it was different now.
For everyone, everywhere, where we all can see the history and add our own.
I don't know if you know this, but the keyboard, email, and the telephone were invented for the disabled. And now billions of people use that technology. Sometimes the best way to help millions of people is to start with one person and help them with their unmet need. So a couple of years ago, we brought a group of deaf and hard of hearing people into the Creative Lab, and we workshop with them and try to figure out how we could best help. And we've discovered that while closed caption has been on TV for the last couple of decades, that same technology doesn't exist on the phone. It's actually too hard. So we reached out to all the engineers we knew across the company and figured out with our latest voice recognition technology, machine learning on device technology, and we created closed caption. Then we launched it last year, first on the Pixel phone. It'll be coming in Android and hopefully to every phone some point.
Silence is not always golden. For millions of Americans with hearing problems, television is a silent screen. Frustrating, isn't it?
The first time television introduced caption was in 1972. For those who are deaf and hard of hearing, this was the first time that television became accessible to them. My name is Kea Lu. When I turned 2.5 years old, my parents noticed that I wasn't talking properly, and they went and got my hearing checked and realized I had severe hearing loss. When there's no captioning or I can't understand what's happening in the content that I'm watching, it sucks. Now I can't enjoy this because I can't understand what the person's saying. When I don't have that, it's like taking an experience away from me.
So back in 2009, YouTube partnered with our speech team in order to caption all the videos being uploaded every day. But YouTube isn't all the content in the world, and the amount of content out in the world that isn't captioned is staggering. If I'm flipping around TV and I have captioning on, there's no reason why your phone shouldn't have the same. So why don't we just take this technology that we've been doing so well for so long, make it a little bit smaller, put it on the phones, send it through the models, show you the captions. We're done. That's when we started working with the deaf and hard of hearing community to build live caption. It's a brand new feature on Android that captions any media playing on your device.
And you can even, if you want to see more, you can.
Wow, I didn't know that. It's going to make our lives so much easier. I wake up 2 o'clock in the morning to walk to wake up my mom or dad to say, what are they saying on this? I feel like it's no one's fault. It's the system. But I don't want to miss out on information. I want to know everything. I want to laugh along with other people. Without captioning, I don't feel like I'm part of it. We live in a world where a lot of things are not deaf-friendly. And I'm so grateful that people thought of us.
This feature is not only for deaf and hard of hearing people. It's for anyone who wants to watch content on mute or they're in a situation where they can't turn it up. Everybody at some point in their life is going to have an accessibility issue, whether temporary or permanent. When you design for disability, you do design for everyone.
So I'm lucky enough to have been happily married for 17 years. As someone says, blessed beyond measure. That was for you, Ben. Anyway, actually, scientists all agree that aside from your health and well-being, the number one factor to happiness is who you choose as your partner, who you choose to spend your time with. Love is everything. And while we're thinking about the Google Assistant and how it helped people, we were inspired by one of our designers' grandparents' love story. And unfortunately, a couple of years ago, her grandmother passed away. And so her and her mom tried to bring some technology into his life and his house so he could continue to live and thrive. And that story inspired us to make this video that became, that Google decided to put on the Super Bowl. And one thing to note as you watch this video, the voice of the man is actually Riley's 84-year-old grandfather.
Hey Google, show me photos of me and Loretta. Remember, Loretta hated my mustache. Remember, Loretta loved going to Alaska and scallops. Show me photos from our anniversary. Remember, she always snorted when she laughed. Play our favorite movie. Remember, I'm the luckiest man in the world. Come on, boy.
Since it's the 25th anniversary of Design Indaba, I'm going to try a live demo of the latest technology we've been developing. I don't know if it's going to work. We're going to try to teleport to New York right now and try to find Riley and have her say hi to everyone. You guys ready? All right, let's do this. How do we get off stage? Okay, here we go. All right, let's go. Hey, Meredith. Hey. All right. Okay. Hey, Jasmine. Sheila. All right. Hey, have you guys seen Riley? Just back that way. Okay, hold on. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, what's up? Oh. Hey.
Hey.
Say hi to Design Indaba.
Hi, Design Indaba.
Okay, sorry. Go back to work. All right, let's go. Okay, it was a trick. It's not really real. But this donut is from that shoot. It's a week old, so I don't think we should eat that. So, science fiction has always influenced real science. I gotta know this, but Wang Chang, it's exhausted running around the stage, who's the art director on the set of Star Trek. NASA actually modeled NASA after the set. And the Captain Kirk's communicator was the thing that actually inspired the invention of the cell phone. And the actual Motorola flip case looked exactly like this, the prop he designed. Anyway, so I've discovered after being Google for a while that if you create the picture or the film that's compelling enough, it can actually influence real products that the company builds. So here's one example. A couple of years ago, computer vision technology is getting so advanced and so good that all the different product groups were using it to help search, to help the camera, etc. But we saw that they were doing it all differently, and we thought, hey, we should make it look like one way, like Google's way of looking and understanding, and so that people can take action to it. And we went one step further. We made a video, and we imagined what it would be like when that technology is in the hands of millions, how we live, how we shop, how we turn on the TV, how we go about our business, how advertising is used that way. We made a video, and we showed it to the leadership of the company, and Sundar, our CEO, looked at it and was like, wow, this is cool. We should just make this. I can't show you that video because it's actually top secret. But they did take a couple of the vignettes from the video, and Sundar, this is the most important one, world-changing. We can log into any Wi-Fi. And we made a mock. We named it. We created a logo. We named it Google Lens. And we made a Photoshop mock of Sundar standing on stage announcing it at I/O. And this is actually Sundar announcing it at I/O, the developer conference a couple of years back. What can design do? I realized that perhaps designers might be the best people on the planet to help invent the future. And why, you might ask? Because while there's lots of innovation going on, a lot of innovation is happening in parts. There's a loss of a big picture. We need to innovate in the whole, in holistic systems. Like, as an example, big companies and any complex organization has a lot of people there, and lots of people in different departments doing different things. They try to work together, but it's really hard. Sometimes teams aren't incented to really help each other. But the only thing that matters, it's what's spit out into what people actually see and feel and touch and smell. And the quality of that experience, the seamlessness, simplicity of that, determines whether that whole enterprise is successful or not. And interestingly enough, designers have special powers. Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator, anything that can paint a picture, create the artifact of the future, a future that we want, that somehow becomes a North Star that engineers can all agree to, that, yeah, let's build that. Or the company says, yeah, let's invest in that. And get everyone to go in the same way. People often say that technology is a key driver of innovation. I'll tell you right now, right here on this Indaba stage, that is bullshit. That is not true. Fake news. It has always been, and it always will be, the human heart and the human imagination that invents the future. We as designers, we can solve problems, add joy, add happiness, add meaning, add love to everything. And we have this with Photoshop. And we have this great opportunity, especially now in this day and age, but also a responsibility to build a world that we want to live in, that we want to leave for our children and our children's children. And I feel completely humbled and privileged and honored to be amongst all you designers here in this room, that we're on stage doing amazing things, that are out there watching, that we have a real chance to create a better future. And it reminds me of this story of the kid who was drawing in class, and the teacher asked her, "What are you drawing?" And she said, "God." And the teacher said, "Well, no one knows what God looks like." To which she looked up at her and smiled and said, like, "If they will when I'm done." And I came to this really sublime realization a couple of years ago, pretty recent. It's changed everything for me. It's actually stupidly obvious, but kind of profound. And that's this. Everything is made up. Everything is made up. Every country, every religion, every single language that has ever been spoken since the beginning of time, quantum computing, the Capri salad. At one point, someone thought it was a good idea, mozzarella, tomato, basil. It was awesome. People loved it. It spread. Anything that's good and that spreads is usually invented by one person or a small group of people. And then it's really good, it moves out. And so, my message to everyone here is that if we tap into our humility, our humanity, and our creativity, while no one knows what the future might look like, they will when we're done. Thank you.